Hey, what's up? I am going to talk about this watch right here. Um, Actually, not specifically. This is a modded Casio, but I'm not going to specifically talk about this watch. There's reviews about it. This is the Casio G-Shock Square, basically, but it's the GWB 5600 AR-1. I guess the AR stands for Adrenaline Red, as the screen suggests. Pretty cool. Usually comes in, actually, I have, where's my strap? um, yeah, so it's come in this black resin case and the rubber, I guess, resin strap to match. But when I got it, I decided, you know what, there's a lot of cool kits out there from AliExpress. So I decided to pick up this one from, the name of the store is G-Refit Watch Part Store. And, yeah, and, took like at least a month or something to, after order to get it. It's just, AliExpress stuff is usually pretty slow coming to the United States. But anyways, finally got here, put it together, and I'll show you what this is. So it's mostly about this kit, and so not so much to watch. In case you want to know, I mean, they make all sorts of fits for these. And if you're curious about this specific one, I mean, this is a GWB 5600. I don't know if that's the module, actually, the 3461. But it's Bluetooth. It's pretty much got all the bells and whistles, right? Tough solar, Bluetooth, whatchamacallit, multi-band 6, 200 meters water resistance. Basically, it should last on a full charge for up to 10 months. But if you put it on standby mode and low power, it could be actually up to 22 months. You don't mess with it, so you can actually put it away in storage for quite a while. So I got this kit from G-Refit Watch Parts Store. It's about a year ago, more than that, but I've had it ever since, and it's a pretty good reproduction of the original Casio version, which costs like, full retail is like, I think it was 1800 or something like that. Maybe you can get it for a slight discount, but even so, I think you're looking new right around 1500 perhaps. I don't know what they go for now, but they are not cheap, and this does a great job of replicating it. There's been other videos on this, but I will say that one main difference you can tell, I mean, it depends on what you model this with, but obviously the screen and the specific base watch that you use to put in here will make that, the main part of it in the inside here within the bezel, look the way it's going to look differently, just based off of the watch that you have to work off from. What else? The fitment's really good. And yeah, this is the titanium version. I think you can get them in stainless steel for quite a bit less, but for about $165, I think that's pretty good compared to the price of it, the real thing, which is what that would probably be at least, is it 100 times more or 10 times more? Yeah. 10 times more expensive. Not 100, that'd be a lot more expensive, but about 10 times more expensive, and I don't think that's really worth it myself, unless you're a real G-Shock nut. But yeah, I don't really have any issues. I really appreciate the fact that they still have G-Shock protection on here, and yeah, some people might have gripes about that, saying, oh, it's like a fake or something, but no, I mean, it's really on your attitude and how you go about presenting this watch. If you come off like, yeah, this is an original watch from the brand, then yeah, that's just on you, trying to be fake and show it off as something else, right? But you be honest and say this is a modded watch. This is not an original case, but it looks like this so and so. Then that's your sincere honesty, and then you can't really say it's fake. It's just a modded watch, really. Any of these fine differences, but they do make a difference on how people may perceive it. So just come across as real, and don't just try to pretend that it's what it isn't, right? And you'll be fine. So I'm not gonna get into how to install this. Rather, I am going to actually uninstall it. On my wrist, which is 7 inches or just under, it works fine like this, but I do have to wear in a specific location, like down here, because these lugs don't angle in as much as I thought they could or would. Let's just take this off for a second and take a look. You can see, let me see if I can give you a better close-up where it's brighter too. Give me a second. From this distance, you can see the angle here of the lugs, the way they come down. I thought they would be in, a little bit in more. So it's actually quite wide like that, and I've never held a real metal one, stainless steel or titanium. And I was trying to go to the mall or Macy's or somewhere to see if they might have one, so I can just at least reference it and check it out in person to see if it's really like this on the real one. So if anybody knows, let me know. But the odd thing is, I think this is just wide enough where any person that's done reviews on the real ones or even these kits, I'm surprised they haven't actually mentioned anything about the lug width like this or this angle here, because for anyone like mine, 7 inches or even lower, that may be of concern that it can't taper in more. So I'm just curious if the real ones are like just like this, or do they go in just like even 1 degree more on both sides would be, I think, noticeably better. And as such, you can see down here, let me back up. Down here is kind of fine. I have to wear it. Usually I wear it with the wrist bone right on this side, but I could, but it just feels like, it tends to feel like it's getting off the wrist and wide where I don't want it to be. Whereas I push it down, then the wrist bone area kind of, fills up that area better. So that's the only thing that's been kind of bugging me about that. And so that's why I'm going to switch it back to the resin. For now, probably going to sell this. It's in great shape for as long as I had it, and I don't wear it that much. I'm more of an analog mechanical watch guy, but I do think that I should at least have one digital, the G-Shock, that's always accurate too, because it's always getting updates to be perfectly timed. So that's good, and it's pretty much self-sustaining since it's solar, so you don't have to really do battery changes. So what I was going to say, before I get into it, I think the finish on these are better than the original, because the original, I think the main case is more glossy or shinier, yet the bracelet is kind of matte like this. So there's a little bit of disparity, not on this, but the original. If you see that, you would know what I mean. Whereas this one, everything matches. It's a matte finish from case to bracelet. And so I think this just looks better, more uniform. And I think they've done something odd in terms of the finish between case and bracelet on some of the other metal G-Shocks squares, but I'm not going to get into those. But I noticed that the kits for those other versions, such as I just saw something recently like the aged metal version, has a better match too than the original, in my opinion. So anyways, all I can say is I don't know what else this kit, specific one I have, will fit. It just says something like 5600, but this is a BG. You should be able to order specifically what you have. So this is for the, again, the BWG, sorry, GWB 5600. And yeah, this is really good quality, because I don't know if you can see close enough. Let me zoom in. But if you can see, there's actually, you can see up here, like some of these, the ones that are fainter may not show up as much, but like the brighter ones, these dots, you see really closely in the center, there's like a little dimple or a little hole in the center. And I thought that was a print defect. I was like, is this thing really laser etched or printed? And I thought, that looks like maybe a poor screen print job or something. Or is it a decal? Otherwise, I didn't think it was nothing. Wasn't sure if it was really laser etched or whatever. But I found some pictures online from for the real ones, like from a review from a blog to watch, and I looked really closely at this, the original, the actual Camo version, and I looked closely at it, and it actually has these little fine details inside the dots. So I thought that was pretty amazing that they were able to copy that. And they actually are engraved, because I had banged this watch up against a door jamb. Not super hard, but enough to like kind of graze it. And I was like, oh man. I mean, I think we've all done that before. And I think I left a mark somewhere on one of these sides here. And I said, oh, that's it. You know, because some of the paint came off, and so I made a mark, and I thought maybe that was a scratch too. But then when I look closely, I try to clean it off, get some spit in my hands, and try to clean off that mark. I noticed that the most of it, I'm not sure where's the spot. It might be, I don't even know, but just take for example somewhere here, like some of the dots here, like everything else cleaned up. There was, imagine a white line or something going across. Most of it cleaned off, but then some of it was actually, look closer, was actually inside the deposited inside the dots. Like it somehow scraped it like a super fine cheese grater and left some of the paint in there. I was like, what? How does that? So that must mean it's really engraved. I mean, it feels smooth, but that's the only way you can explain why the paint went into those areas. And I just took some soap and water and cleaned it up, and it was fine. And that's pretty amazing that, yeah, these are super finely cut, but that they can actually pick up, for example, paint or something, and actually, you know, it gets lodged in there until I get cleaned up, and it didn't even leave a mark really. So they have some sort of, I don't know, durable coating, or if not, I'm not sure what they're doing to make it resilient, because you can see even down here where you're going to get, you know, one of the most highly trafficked, you know, wear areas of any bracelet. There's nothing here. No matter how careful you are, you're bound to pick up something, but it doesn't really seem to have done anything anywhere. So, I mean, yeah, would I pay $2,000 for something like that when you can get it for this, and maybe even have it bespoke, because you can do a custom whatever module you want to stick in there pretty much. Yeah, I'd rather do this, right? Save me almost $2,000 or whatever. And anyways, so back up a little bit. Anything else I want to say? I suppose this works pretty well. It's a little wear here, but well, not bad considering everything else. So what I'm going to do is reverse this. Oh, this is what it comes with in this box. It's kind of generic. I don't know. Sometimes they may switch up the packaging. It's been a while. Like again, it's been a year, so anything goes. Comes with these tools. Nothing special. It's actually it's kind of cheap, right? Wouldn't expect too much out of these. At least they do tell you it does rotate. It'll probably do the job, but you got a flat head. You got a fine Phillips. You got a little push pin tool. These are some stuff that are pretty common with as freebies sometimes when you get a watch. Spring bar tool. Not the best, but they will do. And hang on a second. Okay, got 23% of it get going. Hopefully I can record all this. So here's the original strap. It's comfortable. It is what it is, right, for a typical G-Shock resin strap. I'm going to put that back on. And the other reason why I wanted to switch it back is because originally I thought, I'm a fan of sci-fi and I like the series The Expanse. And this makes me think of the Martian, or at least in my head, I was thinking of the Martian forces and their armor and stuff, and they use a lot of red and blacks. And in my head, I thought maybe they had some sort of digital camo in some of their outfits, but upon review, actually they don't. It's more just straight up black and red and maybe some grays. And there's really, I don't even think they use really any camo pattern. So I think would have been best if I had actually done the other titanium version that was all solid color. I can't tell if it's actually black or it's really dark gray. And that probably would have been better, but then I feel like it was so close to the way the resin looks like just on the outside. The feel is different, but the general finish and color more or less black or a super dark gray. It was so close that it wouldn't be worth it to, do it just to switch to basically a titanium. It'll probably add more weight anyways, because this is a heck of a lot lighter. And so, I don't know, just because of that, I just kind of want to reach that, and I feel like the fitment could be a little bit better. I'm just going to switch it back, and I'll probably sell this. So if you're interested, let me know, but I think I'll put it for a fair price. It won't be super cheap, but something that's fair, considering you probably won't have to wait nearly as long to get something like this from AliExpress. And it's, again, pretty good condition, and at least I can confirm it fits this particular module. So if you have that, great. Don't ask me about any other kinds because I'm not that familiar with the other G-Shock squares to know the minute details why one might or might not fit in this. So do your own research and homework before you commit to something like that, because I won't have a clear answer for you other than what I have I've actually used, right? So, one last thing. Here are the extra links. It looks like I did an even removal on both sides because there's 3. And they do use little mini spring bars. So they're actually pretty easy to size. It's kind of like your bracelet, getting it on and off. You just, or if you have drilled lug hose, for instance, basically you push and then you kind of pull, try to pull it apart so that the springy part tip gets caught inside so it holds, and then you can push the other side and kind of push that side free, and then you separate the links. Watch out that you don't let the spring bar somehow shoot out from either side as you're separating it, which you could potentially do, and then you'll be on a search fest on your hands and knees looking for this, probably on the ground somewhere if you can find it. it comes with an extra pair of spring bars, which this does have in here. But these spring bars are so recessed, you basically can't use your thumbs to do it. You're going to need a tool to remove it, right? And actually the kit comes with, I forgot to mention, a matching titanium. Oh, actually, no, I'm not even sure this is titanium. I never even used it, but because this comes with usually they come with a resin keeper. This I don't think is titanium though. It feels a little bit on the heavier side compared to what I'm feeling here. It's probably stainless steel, and you can sort of feel it in the metal. Like titanium tends to cool, or rather warm up pretty easily. That's why it can be pretty comfortable to wear, because you don't ever get a really cold watch. It just pretty much instantly warms, whereas stainless steel can kind of take a little bit of time to get there. So I think that's what that is. But it did include it in case you wanted to have a metal keeper instead of the rubber one, if you ever, plan to take it off the bracelet and put something on there. But I don't know, I don't think that quite works for me. But I think if you had some of the other kits, that probably work better. Or if you ever wanted to switch it back like I did, like you could do a metal one, but I don't think I want to add the weight to this otherwise lightweight strap, right? Where did this go? Maybe it went in the middle here after I put the case in there. And here are the original screws that are in here. So these ones, you can't really tell, but they actually go in at an angle, because you can see the case is at an angle. So you don't try to screw them in when you take these out and you screw, when I was installing it, you make sure it goes in like kind of perpendicular at an angle, and like this angle on this side, of course, and so forth on the other corners. And let's see, what we're going to do first is just pop this off of the case. I hope I have enough battery juice here. I'll try to make it quick, otherwise I'll have to pause it and slice it again. Yeah, there you go. That's it. Just gotta reach in there and pull that out. So if you need instructions on installing it, I'm sure there's some online, but you can basically do the reverse of what I'm doing here. Sorry, it's off camera. Hang on. So these things just come out anyways, the spring bars. They're not held in really tightly. They kind of need a little bit of play in here because of the fitment. Okay, just like that. Just push this down, because again, you got no way to grab it with your fingernails. Even if you did have fingernails, it's pretty recessed in there. There you go. These are pretty easily. So I'm gonna set these, I guess, right up here for now. And I don't know, I'm not gonna bother putting it back on, because I think whoever might want this, well, maybe I should, because it's not gonna really fit back in the case otherwise. I'll do it off screen later. We'll only get to the main thing. If I have time, I'll try to show you this, but otherwise, I'll just show you real quickly. These are just, again, spring bars. You probably want to use the longer one, and you just simply push it in. You can feel it springy, and then just kind of tug at the spring to get it out like so. You can see if I push it back, you hear it snap back in. As you should. It's definitely loose. You can see it can kind of come out now. And then you just kind of work the other side and do the same. Oh, here, snap back in. And then you try to hold that open so that spring, that end is kind of locked. it won't slip back into the hole, and then you just push the side and kind of push at it, and it'll all come out. Basically, it's not rocket science, and it's not that hard at all. Probably one of the easier systems, but the trickier part might be putting it back in, because you just gotta. It's gonna be pretty tight fit to try to put it in, but you just have to work one side and then carefully push the pin here and push it in, and it'll slip under and it'll just all lock back in. So these use a flat head versus the originals had a cross, like a Phillips. So for that, you're probably going to use the flat head here. If I recall, when you first try to do this, it's like you're not sure, because it's a bit of resistance, and you want to make sure you are getting it in at the right angle so that you don't strip the hole, because if I'm not mistaken, you're basically screwing this back into resin. The resin's kind of threaded already from before, whatever screws you were using, I think. And so you don't want to, you just want to make sure you're getting it right, and so you don't strip the hole. Otherwise, you may not have a completely secure case, or at least there's a potential for the screw to just fall right out if you've been too rough on it and you're very active, and maybe it might just shake itself out. I mean, you might have done something really dumb to do that. So you just simply, once all the screws are out, that's holding it in, open it up, and that's it. I am looking into, this is the same day as I'm doing this, I was looking into, they have like a virtual armor version of, which is another real pricey version of this, of the titanium G-Shock squares. But it's really cool because it's kind of skeletonized and it's got all those technical writings all around. So, I'm just curious how this will work in the new one, because the new one has the virtual armor has this cutout here, right? The slot, and you can see like the resin kind of shock absorbing thing. And they say you're supposed to remove the old one from here. So I don't know. I mean, it's a different model anyways, but there's like this piece that you fit over it, or maybe it's molded into the new case. So it'll be interesting how that works, because it's right about here, and there's nothing there unless they made a new opening, and it'll slip over this, and then it'll all just sandwich together nicely. Who knows? We'll see when that happens. But they give you some new buttons too, so that these are black, and this one, as you see on the virtual armor, it's got like a red ring and I think a red dot on it to denote, just to accent that that's the light button. But you got to get into here to remove the stock buttons to do that, and that sounds kind of scary. I don't know. I'll have to see if there's any tutorials online on how to change these buttons. I'm guessing that you just can't unscrew them or pop them off as is. You probably might need to open this up and get in there. You're kind of reluctant to mess with the potential water resistance with that. We'll see. If I don't change it, it's not going to look bad with just the silver stock silver buttons on that case anyways, but we'll see. So to get this back on, just try to clean this out. Let me see. Give it a get going. Let's see. And this basically, because of the way this is not cut out as it is on the bottom here, so you just have to kind of pull and wrap the stuff around the buttons. It's not upside down, right? No. And do the same here. Look, it's super flexible. It just slips right over. And then we're going to, I gotta hurry up before my battery dies. These here, I'm gonna put these ones away before they run away and I lose them. And make sure I got this. I'll put this back with, maybe I'll put it in here so they know that it goes with that. It's all going to go together. So we're going to just switch to the small Phillips, and they give you like the right size tool to use. It's not too fat, it's not overly small, but you got fat fingers, which I don't, but sometimes it can be a little clumsy. See, you can make sure you put this at an angle. You see how that is? And then just to make sure I don't strip it, I usually back thread it a little bit if I can feel like it's dropping in, but just go down like that. Actually, this screwdriver could be a little bit bigger because it is a little bit on the small and pointy side for this, and if you're not careful, you can strip that crosshair right in the middle, and that's going to suck and be a pain in the butt to change out later. And making sure I was going at it at an angle. Sorry. Try to concentrate on both sides. And then I don't overly tighten the screws at the beginning, right? It's kind of like working on the wheels on your car when you're changing it or putting back the tires, or the wheels with the tires on. When you put the bolt pattern, you kind of do a cross thing to try to even out the tightening, and then you also don't want to over torque it or tighten it at the beginning. You just kind of make sure they're all in, secured in fairly even all the way around first, so you know that the thing's well seated. It's not like somehow, I don't know, tighter on one side than the other. Usually it'll balance itself out, but you just do one side and then just kind of go around. Once they seem like they're about the same. You know what, I'm gonna, I feel it slipping, so I'm gonna use one that's fatter and more secure, so that I do not want to strip the screw heads. Never want to strip the screw heads. So this is pretty easy reverse modding. And then again, if you needed to take it back, take it off again, and maybe put on a different kit, it's just, or if you are installing it, you can just basically reverse the order of this, what I'm doing here. And crap, what went in here? A set of spring bars, right? So you know what, I think this is what it is. These should be the same spring bars that go in here. Let me just, because this, yeah. Okay, let's take this out. This can go in here. And these do not use the quick release bars because they just don't have that in here. I'm pretty sure it's just these short guys in here. Let's see how this fits. Oh, I have to admit, that looks kind of short. Oh, great. I don't think these are the right ones. These are definitely for the pins, for the links here. Okay. I have to go through my my supply of watch parts and see. I should have labeled them somewhere. They're not in here. It's not these. I'm sure they don't use this. This is part of these spring bars are for this. So okay, let me pause this for a second. Okay, hopefully I can have how this. It's funny in my watch. I have this thing where I kept my bracelet or the strap, and I was looking in there because I'm trying to be organized. And I see this tool with these. I don't know if I put it with that, but then I also have these are strap adapters for like NATOs for the G-Shock. Swear I had these a while ago for different G-Shocks where I never used them. These are actually made out of metal, quite heavy. It seemed kind of counterintuitive to put these on here at the time. They probably work okay, but it's like I probably will try to find some that are a little bit more. I see how long this extends it down this way. I think there's some that have actually it's not. You don't have to run it through this way. They have a slit through this thing. It's designed differently, and I think it'll work better and not be as long. But anyways, these have spring bars in them, so I'm curious if they. I'm pretty sure I could use those, but I see this little note I made. What do these go with? G-Shock. I'm thinking they're about the same size, if not a little bit longer. Let's see. I mean, I can't imagine what else these would go with. These are not 20 millimeters. These have to go with this here. Hopefully, I don't stick it on something that's too wide or that I can't get out of here later. But let's see. Oh, wait. Is it going in? Is it going in? Resin is pretty flexible, so I'm not too concerned about it getting stuck. Just want to make sure it's actually seated in there. And are these just too fat? That's what happens when you put things away for about a year and you forget what things are. I usually do a pretty good job at labeling them, but this time, nope. I mean, that side is getting locked in, but this one doesn't seem to want to stay. It's not finding itself seated in the right spot. Okay, if this doesn't work, I'm going to try the ones that are on those metal keepers. Strange. Don't don't think it matters if I reverse it. See where the holes are at. I can feel one side getting locked in, but it doesn't want to go into the other side. Okay. All right. Stitch this idea for a second. Let me put it back together with this guy. And let me try what's situated inside these things. So I assume, geez, these look fatter. We'll see. May actually work better. Maybe the little pin at the end is just a little too fat on the other ones, but they actually look about the same size to me. Ah, there we go. Oh. Why did you pop out too? Oh, I think I got it. It looks about right. You guys can't really see it too well, but you gotta just test it and flex it. If it's not moving, popping out, slipping out, it should be fine. Alright, I just assume these are the ones that go with it. They seem to work. I mean, these adapters are for G-Shocks anyways. But yeah, I used to have an all blacked out version. It wasn't Bluetooth or even solar. It has like, it's pretty stealthy looking, blacked out with, I forgot the model number. It's DW 500, 5600 something, BW. I don't know, it was just all black and not even any labels. It's pretty plain, but it kind of looked cool and tactical. Hang on. Is this actually holding in? I just want to make sure I'm not tripping. Okay, there we go. Back to stock form. It looks good. Okay, well that's about it. I cut this before it gets too long, but so you want to try to install something like this, it's not that hard. You can see it's just basically a couple of screws, pop this off, pop off the spring bars on this, and then get this on here, screw it in using their screws, make sure it's at an angle. This guy goes in with the quick release bars, which is pretty easy. You're probably going to need a tool just to fiddle it and get it in, but it actually comes in and out pretty easily. And then just adjusting the sizing of the bracelet, just like any other, you just figure out your links, and all it is actually spring bars. So you just push one in, try to finagle one end out, and then go to the other side, and there you go. And keep doing that until you got the links out, then push it back in. You just kind of like this, you know what I was doing. You push, like most bracelets, they don't have the drill knuckles won't do anything for you anyways, but you know, you usually try to fit in one end, get that secured, and then push in the other end and push it in. That's the same concept with the bracelet. So that's it. If there's any questions, let me know, but that's the gist of it. So I do recommend this kit. It's just unless you have at least about a 7-inch wrist, you might be maybe not too pleased of, as I showed you earlier, how the lugs are angled a little bit on the wide side. So you know, you got to wear it in a certain spot even for a 7-inch wrist. But if you got anything above that, it probably shouldn't be an issue. And again, I don't know if it's just the way this kit was made, or all G-Shock metals, like the real deal ones from Casio, are they just as wide? I don't know. I haven't had one to actually play with, so I couldn't tell you. But if you do, or you guys know, can confirm something like that, the real thing versus the kits, or even if you have the real thing, if you find it's kind of wide, I'd be interested to know if that's just the way it is. I mean, I kind of, again, besides finding a spot to put it on, I kind of figure G-Shocks have a certain geometry and fit, and I give it a little bit of leeway because of that. You know, they do kind of just kind of arch out a little wide, but at least some of the bands such as this are a bit more flexible, so you can get it tighter. We'll see the closing shot. Hopefully my phone will last this long. Just yeah, it just, this fits a lot better. Even if I pull it back a little bit where I usually wear it, like just above, this seems a heck of a lot more comfortable, and it's better. But this is a cool thing for the price, and if you can deal with that, the way that fits on particular wrists, definitely recommend it. Again, I think I'm gonna go for 125, 150, probably 125. I don't know, not as much as they're selling for, which is a little bit closer to 200, right? High hundreds, 170, 60, 70 ish for the titanium full kit. I think roughly that's all they cost. Even with discounts, you got that horrendous waiting time too. But for me, at least within the US, you're not going to have any issues too much with getting it out and fast to you. And if you have any question about the fitment, at least you know if it's this GWB 5600s modules style watches. All right, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next.